now that we have this page where we are getting a customer ID as a parameter in the URL, we want to use this parameter to control a database query so that we can get just one customer record from the customer table and display the data for that one customer on the page. So the first thing we need to do is go to our server behavior, and we want to do a record set, and we're going to name our record set for this page customer. We want to go from the customers table. We do want to select all of our data, but then now under the filter, we want to filter by the customer ID, and then you can see it'll ask us how do we want to get the value for the customer ID, and we can do it by URL parameter, form parameters, cookies, other types of variables. Well, we have a URL parameter coming in, so that was the default it picked. We're going to keep that. The URL parameter customer ID, well, we named it with a lowercase customer, lowercase c, and so we want to go ahead and change that to match just in case. And then for our sorting, since we're going to be picking just one customer record, we don't need to worry about sorting. And then let's hit OK. And so now you can see in our code we've got our connection to the Northwind database, and then we have our PHP code that was added for our record set. And if we scroll down a bit, we will see that here's our column name customer equals get customer ID. So that's the URL variable that was passed in. And then now you can see the actual select statement where it's putting the query together, select star from customers where customer ID equals, and then we have our value string column name being passed as a parameter to that. So that all goes through now. So we know that record set will fire and pick the data. So now in the body of our document we can create a table, and let's see, 7 rows, 2 columns. That should be enough to display some of our customer data. And we can go in and create some heading fields. Customer ID, company name. Alright, looks like we've got our headers different here, so let's right click, go to table, properties for the table. No, here we are down here. Let's click on table. There's nothing to, I see on this version for, let's look at the quick tag editor. No. Oh, I know we can't have the headings be the console. So we'll have to edit that specifically to get rid of the bolding and all that. Alright, so we had company name. I think contact name was one of our fields. Contact title. let's fill in the dynamic fields to see what else we need. So here on this side we want the customer ID to appear. So we'll go to our server behaviors. We want dynamic text. We want to pull from our record set, and we'll grab the customer ID, and we'll do our HTML encode to get rid of any special characters. Let's go to the next one. Dynamic text, company name. Okay. Oh, didn't set the HTML encode. Alright, next field, contact name. So we'll add dynamic text, contact name. Forgot the HTML encode again. Contact title, dynamic text, contact title, HTML encode, and you could continue that on down to fill up the other columns of your tables. And now let's finish this. We didn't really want that first row to be a header row, so we just changed the TH to TD at each side. That'll make that particular row be a standard row. So now we just have a table. Down the left hand side are the names of our fields from a customer. Down the right hand side are the dynamic fields for that customer. And if we go to our web page and refresh, then we can see now that we have all the data related to this particular customer. Okay, so now if we needed to print other data on this page from other tables, for instance, let's say we wanted to generate a table with all the orders for this customer. So we will insert a table, and remember, when we're setting up a dynamic table, we want the table to just be 2 rows and as many columns as we want. We'll just pick 4, do 4 columns from our order table. We do want headers at the top this time, so OK. And now we need a new record set for the orders table. So we'll do record set. Let's call this one orders. This will go from the orders table. We're going to select all of the fields, and we are going to filter this now. You can see customer ID is one of the fields. So we're going to filter on customer ID using the URL parameter customer ID with the lowercase c, because that's how we named it. We could have named it with a capital C. And this time we could get more than one order for a particular customer. So let's order these by order date. And OK. So now we have a record set for orders. And let's go through and do a few headers. Let's do the order ID. We know we want the order date. Since we sorted by order date, we want to see if it sorts correctly. Let's look at this orders record set again. And let's do a test real quick. Order our test value ALFAA ALFAA. We'll see if this customer has any orders. They did. They had 2. So we know the order date will be one thing we print. Let's print, I don't know what else, the freight and the ship name. That'll be 2 fields we can see. So let's go in here, let's do the freight and the ship name. Go through, do our dynamic text. We want dynamic text. This time we want to go down and pick the orders record set. We want the order ID, HTML and code. Do dynamic text. Go to the orders one. We want the order date. Now let's look at our coding here if there's anything specific for date formatting. Doesn't look like it, so let's just stick with the HTML and code, see how that comes out. We want the freight field plus dynamic text. Scroll down to the orders ID. Let's pick the freight field. Oops. If there's any other encoding that's not needed, always pick HTML and code so that you get rid of any special characters. And then finally, ship name, dynamic text, ship name, HTML and code. OK. So now we have a table. So this table would have the dynamic text, that's one row, and then now just like before we need to do our repeat region. So here in our code we want to put our pointer right before the TR that starts the row that has all the PHP code in it. And we want to make sure we get just that row. So you can see we go from the starting TR to the ending TR, and then go to our server behaviors, repeat region. We want to repeat based on the orders record set. And in this case, we really don't want to have to page for the different records, so we're just going to put all records. So the table is going to show us all the orders for that customer regardless how many there are. It might make for a long page if there's a lot of orders, but that's okay. We're not really looking for that paging capability. So click OK for the orders. Okay, now I see this did happen, what's been happening for other students, that it's put the repeat region around the entire table, not just the rows we had selected. So we need to move the start of our do loop. I'm going to highlight that line and do Control X to cut it out. I'm going to come down in front of the row where it needs to be and paste it in. And then I'm going to go down and find the end of the loop. So I want to take this whole line, do Control X to take it out, come to the end of that row, go back to the beginning of the line, and paste that in. Okay, now I can do File, Save. And if we go back to our web browser, I can update this page. And we can see now we've got our detailed data for the customer, and then we've got our table with the orders for this customer. Now here's the really neat thing, because this whole